Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. Gonna get started then. Just start with introductions. Welcome back. Unfortunately, because of the short notice of this meeting, quite a few individuals are unable to make it, but I am recording this session. So just to point out, I am recording it, so you know from the get-go. So just to get started, I'm gonna just quickly do a recap of the last session. The last session was about primarily explaining the fundamentals of marketing, and we covered 5 areas. The first being explaining the fundamentals of cloud computing, and the core bit of that section was that we came up with a definition for cloud computing, which was cloud computing is using the internet to deliver hardware and software services instead of keeping physical hardware and software at your office. And cloud computing providers deliver hardware and software over the internet. Cloud computing uses access hardware and software over the internet. So those were the 3 kind of explanations that we discussed in that section. The second section was relating to cloud computing with analogies, and the analogy we came up with for people to use was cloud computing is like giving your IT department thermostats that they can turn up or down or off based on their needs. If they need extra processing power to cover peak periods, they can crank it up and they can turn it down when they're finished. The third section that we covered last time was identifying organizational benefits of cloud computing. And the core thing around that was reduced capital expenditure. That was a core benefit because having IT hardware in offices is nowadays it's outdated and it's very expensive. It's better to rent services in the cloud where you can, of course, buy as much as you want or get rid of, processing power that you don't need. The other benefit was scalability. Your clients can scale their services up to meet seasonal demands, whether there's an increase in employees or reduction in employees, or special certain times during the year where they'll require more processing power. And a big one is anywhere access. Unlike having 100 PCs in a big room somewhere, the cloud is accessible wherever you are. It provides anywhere access. It's one of the major benefits of cloud computing, having access to your computing resources, regardless of wherever you are in the world. Your clients can access cloud computing services as long as they have access to the internet. And the fourth one that we covered was overcoming objections to cloud computing. And some of the areas that we covered there, one of the objection, which has come up a few times, is, will my cloud services always be available? What happens if the cloud goes down? And a common response to that would be, as a cloud services reseller, you can pass on netooze cloud 100% uptime service level guarantee agreement. So we, as an organization, as a company, we have an agreement in place that we say actually it's 99.9% uptime agreement, which means if we don't live up to that expectation of having our services online 99.9% of the time, we will not only refund money, but they're entitled to get compensation from us for not providing that level of uptime. So that's something that you can always say to clients, especially as we're a new service. How can they trust us? How can they rely on our service being up all the time? Well, we're putting our money where our mouths are, which means we will cough up money in the event that your services go down and it's our fault. Of course, if it's your client's fault because they've gone into a server and they've changed a configuration file and it goes down, then we will not take responsibility for that. But if it's on our end, if it's our fault, if our equipment goes down, then we will cough up, we will pay money for that. damages for that. Another kind of objection that came up was what kind of technical support is available. Well, it's good to remind clients that we offer 24/7, 360 days a year support. That's day or night. If they need to quickly resolve any issues that may come up, they can drop a ticket, and our team of technical support team will respond to them. And the last one we covered last time was recommending services. And that's what we're going to look at a bit more in detail today. So I gave a brief overview of our platform last week, and now I'm about to give a bit more of an in-depth overview of the platform. So that's what I'm about to do now. So if at any point you can't see my screen, please let me know so I can fix it. So I'm just about to, I'm already logged onto our platform. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you log into the back end. When you register an account on netooze.com, you end up at platform.netooze.com. And so I'm just going to start at the top, and I'm going to slowly work my way around. So at the top here, as you could see, there's an amount. It says 31. We've got $31.81 in the account. So the first thing that your clients want to do when they come in, before they can actually create any, I mean, they can try and create stuff, but when they get to the end of it, it's still going to ask them to refill the balance, is that they need to top their personal balance up. And why I'm on this one, there's actually 3 ways of them doing this. So when you click on refill balance, you're given 2 options at the moment: using a bank card, and they can simply enter their bank card details in here, and then click on pay now and put the amount that they wish to top up their accounts with. So the amount goes in there, their card details, and they pay now. Another option is PayPal, which is highly used around the world. If they have a PayPal account, or if they have difficulties paying with a bank card, they can sign up for a PayPal account. It only takes about a minute, and they can top up their balance that way. A third option, which isn't addressed here, but it is on the front end of our website. If you go into our service level agreement, we offer educational establishments and also government entities the ability to pay for their services a month after. So basically they can request an account, a balance, a certain amount of credit from us, basically, as a trusted they need to be a trusted government organization, and then we'll do that. For clients who have been with us a few months, where we are willing to extend them credit. So after they've been with us a few months, we won't just shut off their services for lack of payment. We'll top their accounts up and wait. And it just goes on trust. So once they've been with us for a little while, we'll extend them credit, basically. So that's how you top up your credit. And sometimes we issue promo codes, which basically means, a 10% off for certain clients. So if you want us to get your promo code, you can request one, and we'll gladly get one raised for you, and then you can hand that to your clients. It might be something like a 5 or 10% discount, but sometimes that can be the thing that helps to somebody to sign up, that they're going to get a discount. But I will stress straight off that our prices are very competitive already. We're one of the cheapest out there, so we can only give them so much of a we can only discount the product so much, otherwise we end up losing in the end. So this is where your client would enter a promo code, and then press activate promo code to basically get apply that to their account. So that's refill balance. And actually, if if you click on this link here, it takes you to our terms of service, and it actually talks about bank cards, payment on account, and promise payment. That's basically what we're saying. I'm going to go back. Up here, this little circle here, if I move that down, this basically it's basically replicates some of the options on this navigation menu on the side, on the left hand side. So finance, which takes you back, it takes you to this screen, which basically tells your client what their current balance is, what they've used for the month. A key thing with our service is that we only charge every minute. So if your client creates a server, we're charging them basically every minute. As soon as they delete that server or get rid of it, we stop charging them, and their balance will remain the same until they start basically creating more servers, etc. And this is the history of everything for this account. So this is the monthly charges for services that I've created, primarily for testing. And if they click onto that, it gives them a bit more detail into that. So that's balance and current costs, and tariffs as well. So this is an interesting one for your clients. They can click on, for example, our vStack servers or VMware cloud service or storage, and they can see the exact cost basically for a server with 1 CPU, 2 CPU, etc. It's detailed here. So that's one of the things that we do, is that we're quite black and white when it comes to costs. A lot of other companies will basically hide their costs. They'll display really wonderful low prices, but when clients get to the end of buying a service, they end up that they're paying much more because they're not really upfront and honest with their costs. But we're very upfront. Another option in here is support. So, and that can be found from this menu here, or it can be found down here. You still get to the same place, you come to the same place, whichever one you click. And this is where your clients submit tickets, basically help desk tickets, any time of the day or night. So to submit a ticket, your client will basically click on create request, give it a title. It could be server not working, for example, or it could be another issue. Perhaps they've done something wrong with the configuration of the server and they would need a little bit of help. Can you help? So the more descriptive, the more precise, the more detail they give around the issue, the better we'll be able to resolve it for them. So do that. It'll probably be more descriptive than that, and then you create ticket, and that goes to the help desk. And what will happen is your client would receive an email that they can respond to, or this will just flash up, and they can respond to our support team via that route as well. And normally they're quite quick at responding. So the next one in this menu is settings. So in this this screen, this is gives you the ability to change your name. When you first register, it doesn't actually set your name up because you're just registering with an email address. So this is where you would enter your name. Another thing that we recommend for your clients' accounts is two-factor authentication. So they can set that up here, which means downloading a Google Authenticator app, and it means it's much more safe. It means that even if they lose their passwords or somebody else manages to get your client's passwords, that they can't immediately get into their accounts. And that would be a bad thing if that did happen, because if your clients have lots of different servers with company data on it, that will be a data breach if that happens. So we highly recommend your clients using Google Authenticator and setting up two-factor authentication. again, this is where promo code would be if we issued one out. I mean, it's good to issue these out to clients who have been with us a while, to show how much we appreciate them. We sometimes produce promo codes anyway, and we'll issue them to you, so you can issue them to your clients. Sash keys. So sash keys, they're basically long, unique passwords that are used for securing servers. If you've never heard of them before, when a user creates a server, mostly in any provider, but I'm talking about us on netooze, they can get a sash key created. I'm not going to go into the real detail of it, but that sash key that then is used to access the core, like the center of the server, so you can basically access the server itself and change configurations in the server. So it's not something that an ordinary person would do. You need quite a lot of technical know-how to do that. But this is where it's done. This is where you set up the sash keys. There's two ways of doing that. Well, there's probably several ways of doing that. And on this tab here, you can delete your account, basically. So going over to the navigation menu on the left-hand side, we offer two types of servers. The first is vStack Cloud, which is very competitive, and VMware Cloud, which is a lot more popular than vStack, but it is slightly more expensive as well. It enables you to link servers together as networks. So like any amount of servers, you could create 1,000 servers and link them together as one network, one powerful network. It's basically unlimited. But what I wanted to do here is create a vStack Cloud server, so you could see the process that your clients would go through in creating one. So if I click create server, and what our system does, it gives the user the ability to select a virtual server template. So depending on what they want to do, for example, if I selected a Windows server, I might do that because I want to set up a remote desktop for an employee, so they can access Windows online wherever they are in the world. I might use that because when I set that up, I get a Windows license, a free remote RCP, I think it's called, I beg your pardon, license, so that a remote desktop license, or Ubuntu, which is a standard server that most people use. So I'm going to use that for this demonstration. Down here is the data center. So basically, this is where you want your data to be held. We have four data centers around the world. Normally, my recommendation is if you're based in the EU, then definitely, opt for a data center nearer to where you are. It's only milliseconds, but it is slightly faster when your users are from the EU and you have your data center in the EU. It's probably better. And nowadays with GDPR, most organizations will want their data based in the region where they are. For example, if there's a customer in London, they probably don't want their data being held in the USA because there's different laws and stuff over there. So there's many good reasons why they might have it in Amsterdam instead. And equally, if your clients are based in Russia or around countries around Russia, they might want their data based there. But ordinary technicians, they might just choose it based on where their clients are. So if you have more clients in the USA, I might choose that. The next one is server configuration. So there's two ways that your clients might select this. We have flexible plans, which means they can pretty much configure a server the way they want. So CPU, that's basically the power of the server. That kind of represents the speed, the processing speed of the server. So 1 being entry level, 3 being pretty quick. Anything from 2 upwards is pretty fast. The RAM is the working memory. Basically, when a server is created and you're doing things with that server, it stores temporary things in the RAM. So if it's just a blog or something, you might start with 1 GB. If it's something bigger, like being used for scientific projects, you might have much more than that. But it's really good that we've got the fits plans, because most of the time clients would just go to fits plans and select a pre-configured server. So I'm just going to select that one. And we talked about sash keys before, which is slightly technical for newbies. So we do offer a straightforward login, and if your clients select that, then we'll basically set up a password, and that will be supplied to them at the end of the server setup process, which most people opt for. It's slightly less secure than this one, but it's easier. And just recently we started to offer applications. So along with creating your server, WordPress is the most popular blogging platform in the world. We offer that, so your clients can literally click on that, and as well as creating the server, we will pre-install WordPress for them, so it's ready for them to set up, which again is really good for individuals with less technical know-how when it comes to the web and setting up applications like WordPress. And we offer a whole lot more as well. And so the last section is how many servers does your client want? So they can select 2, 1, they can basically select the amount of servers they want set up. And the last bit is to give your server a name, which is you can name it anything you want. It's just for the platform. It means nothing to the outside world, really. It's just for your knowledge of when you start creating lots of servers, to just name them. And usually you might name it around what it's going to be used for. But for this, I'm just going to name it netooze and click order. So now it's basically creating that server with WordPress on there. And it should only take about a minute, actually. We're already 40% done. And this is exactly what your clients would see as well. So while it's creating that, as you can see, this outlines the operating system we've chosen, the location, so that's where the server is going to be, and also the configuration we chose, which is like we've got 2 GB worth of RAM. We've chosen an entry-level 1 CPU, we've got a hard disk space of 50 GB. SSD is actually a very fast hard disk drive. It's really quick. So I think the server process is finished. Just going to refresh the screen. So the server's now been created. And so the options that you could see here, I'm just going to quickly run through them. So status, which is the server, every new server is given an IP address. This is basically like your home address, but this is the address for the server. So if I wanted to access that server, I could literally copy that, because it hasn't got a domain name pointed to the server yet. So I could copy that. I could literally, I'll do it now actually. I'll go to this browser, put that number straight in there and click return. And there you have it, that's the server. It's just giving you an overview of what this server is. So I just want to go back to where I was. Okay. This is the login details. Like if you want to log into the core of the server, you use this as a user and password. That's the template we use, the operating system. And we've got some other user details of how to connect to the server if you want to connect to using these details here. Performance. So this is quite useful for your clients in the sense that on this screen, they can assess the performance of their server, i.e. how busy the server is. So it gives them details on that. So the CPU, the volume usage, how much megabytes per second is being used, and there's various graphs and charts, and it can show your clients how much things have been downloaded or uploaded to the server. So basically it's detailing load on the server and just giving them a snapshot of the health. So a server that is always all the way at the top at 100%, they might need to increase like the disk space or the RAM on that server just to satisfy, just to make sure it's operating at the best it can be, basically. Applications. So you noted that we installed WordPress. So that just details it here that we've installed WordPress on this server. And then you've got the settings that again runs through the settings of that server. Actions, so your clients are able to literally switch off the server and reboot the server should anything happen, or if there was a reason they needed to reset it, they can do it here. Snapshots is really good because it enables your client to basically take a snapshot of the server, basically like a copy. So they can do that, and they can then restore from that snapshot. So where we recommend that is if your client's doing a really major update, they can take a snapshot of that server before the update. So if it goes totally wrong, they can restore from the snapshot. And if they were to do that, they can do it from this screen here. So they can boot from a recovery image or from one of the snapshots. They can do that here. This just shows an overview. So this is how much the server costs per month. And this is the history of everything we've done with the server. So we just created that 5 minutes ago. Also, we offer this web console here that basically allows your client to log straight into the server from this screen and issue commands directly in the server. So that covers the server tab. Below that, we have a networks tab. So basically, which allows your clients to create lots of servers and network them together. And we have gateways as well. Which we will cover in a bit more in depth next time we meet. So, is there any questions? Are there any questions? Sorry.